and that makes it like the pain. I don't. It disappears, but it's there. But it disappears at the same time. So really, really embrace your superpower. Really understand how this rest day is really a rest of the soul for us. It's really meant for us. We need to stop, reload, and repeat, rinse and repeat. And it's dope to have you all in my like. I am so blessed to have you all. I'm like, wait, I get this as a team. I've been crying about teams all my life, and this is the blessing. Like everything, I was like, well, this is. I'm looking at it here. Even if you don't want to use it, we all still have equal voice. We all share and accountable for numbers and keeping each other corrected, edifying each other. Not old age, or young, whatever. It's because we're just stewards, shepherds. Now we're digging into the word because that word is our sword.
Mm.
Getting deeper into our set. Right? We still walking because we kind of bound our feet, walking to the peaceful path.
Mm.
Sticking our chest up now, working out, getting bigger. It's so dope. Like one son is working out the spiritual strength, and the other is working out his physical in the same time, in the same motion. And just to watch that. So I thank the Most High for the discernment. I thank Him for the love. I thank Him for us being together. I pray that He guides our hearts, our mouths, and our tongues, so that way, when we do read, we do feel the connection between a Heavenly Father and us as servant sons, following in the God of the Hamashiach, clear path of where we need to be, getting closer to where we need to be. So with that being said, gentlemen, can we start this Soul Food Sabbath day? Can we get it in? Let's get it in.
Let's go.
Let's do it. You're right. Two. We got, I need some light. We got 20 of these. Yeah. And we're in Melchem, Melachem Bet, the 16th chapter.
That's correct.
Okay. What's the order, guys? Which way do you want to go?
I'll go second.
Okay. Big, you want first? Or?
Whoever's take turn. Whatever y'all want.
Okay, so mind you, two people will have seven, one person will have six. Who wants the, how do you want to do that?
And you guys can take it since I'm in the middle.
Okay, you take the six? Perfect. That worked out balanced. That's dope. All right.
In the 17th year of Pekah, son of Remaliahu, Ahaz, son of Yotham, sovereign of Yehuda, began to reign. Ahaz was 20 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. And he did not know, he did not do what was right in the eyes of Yahweh, his Elohim, as his father David had done. But he walked in the way of the sovereign of Israel, and he also made his son pass through the fire, according to the abominations of the nations whom Yahweh had dispossessed from before the children of Israel. And he slaughtered and burned incense on the high places, and on the hills, and under every green tree. Then Retzin, sovereign of Aram, and Pekah, son of Remaliahu, sovereign of Israel, came up to Jerusalem to battle, and they besieged Ahaz, but were unable to overcome him. At that time, Retzin, sovereign of Aram, recovered Elath for Aram, and drove the men of Yehuda from Elath. And the Edomites went to Elath and have dwelt there to this day. And Ahaz sent messengers to Tiglath-Pileser, sovereign of Ashur, saying, I am your servant and your son. Come up and save me from the hand of the sovereign of Aram, from the hand of the sovereign of Israel, who are rising up against me.
And Ahaz took the silver and gold that was found in the house of Yahweh, and the treasuries of the house of the sovereign, and sent it as a present to the sovereign of Ashur. And the sovereign of Ashur listened to him. The sovereign of Ashur went up to Damascus and captured it, and exiled it to Kir. Then he killed Retzin. And the sovereign Ahaz went to meet Tiglath-Pileser, sovereign of Ashur, at Damascus, and saw a slaughter place that was at Damascus. And the sovereign Ahaz sent to Uriah the priest a sketch of the slaughter place and its pattern, according to all its workmanship. And Uriah the priest built the slaughter place, according to all that sovereign Ahaz had sent from Damascus. And Uriah the priest made it before sovereign Ahaz came from Damascus. And when the sovereign came from Damascus, the sovereign saw the slaughter place, and the sovereign approached the slaughter place and made offerings on it. And he burned it, and he burned his ascending offering and his grain offering, and he poured his drink offering and sprinkled the blood of his peace offerings on the slaughter place.
And the bronze slaughter place, which was before Yahweh, he brought from the front of the house, from between the new slaughter place and the house of Yahweh, and put it on the north side of his slaughter place. And the sovereign Ahaz commanded Uriah the priest, saying, On the great slaughter place burn the morning ascending offering, and the evening grain offering, and the sovereign ascending offering, and his grain offering, with the ascending offering for all the people of the land, and the grain offering and their drink offering, and sprinkled on it all the blood of the ascending offering, and all the blood of the slaughtering, and all the bronze slaughtering places for it to me to inquire by. And Uriah the priest did according to all that sovereign Ahaz commanded. And sovereign Ahaz cut off the side panels of the stand, and removed the basins from them. And he took down the sea from the bronze oxen that were underneath it, and put it on pavements of stone. And the covered way which they had built on the house for the Sabbath, and the sovereign's outer entrance, he took from the house of Yahweh, because of the sovereign Asherah. And the rest of the acts of Ahaz he did, are they not written in the books of the annals of sovereign of Yehuda? So Ahaz slept with his father, and was buried with his fathers in the cities of Dawid. And Hezekiah, his son, reigned in his place. Talk to me, gentlemen.
I don't know. I didn't get. Just a second right in.
Big?
I just feel like they was getting the slaughter places ready.
Yeah.
Um, I'm taking from it, right, as I soak it all in and regurgitate it and learn to process it. Ahaz, and what it says, we go back to what we know in the Mekhdeth, the 16th chapter, in the second verse. It says, Ahaz was 20 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. And he did not do what was right in the eyes of Yahweh, his Elohim, and his father David had done. And then it goes you to the depravity, right? He takes apart what his forefather Solomon has put together. He breaks down, he goes down. I'm gonna start with 17, right? I mean, because Uriah is just with him. But 17, it says, 17 verse says, and the sovereign Ahaz cut off the side panels of the stand and removed the basins from them. And he took down the sea from the bronze oxen that were under it and put it on pavements of stone. I just want you just to imagine, like, even understanding that if the Most High were to come here, earth is his footstool. Let's get that out the way. Nothing can contain them. Let's get that out the way, right? Sumo builds a dwelling place just in as a what's the word I want to say? Just show veneration, but really it's just a token, a symbolic token. Like, this is what we're building here for you. Just like I'm building my body up, some symbol, the sim, the symbolism of me building my body up is really dedicated to the Most High. When I'm in the gym, people think I'm rocking out. I'm rapping devotions, songs of devotions in my head. I'm singing songs of devotion, but I'm building this temple up. But it's not actually the physical temple, right? Let's just, we both can be right, and we both, both can be realistic. So now this man is taking away from the physical house, showing that, okay, you know what, they will break this. Really, this house was really for you to see me or to remember me. I see you. I'm, he sees us, but it's for us. Like, Sabbath is for us to just to be a part of this grace, because this is what we're in a time of right now. And we can create this heavenly on earth, right? Understanding this and where we stand and where we fit and the glory of it. So this is how bad these guys got, how disrespectful they got, right? Like, I just don't want it to be overlooked, like it went over our heads. Symbolically, I mean, physically, they was taking a symbol of what they were calling the dwelling place of the Most High, the temple, but really was through the blood of Yahshua for men, right? But that's how depraved we got. That's what we dealing when we talk about those entities, those principalities in high places, the wicked ones. This is an ongoing fight. Like, each of us would step up to fight this. Generation and generation and generation. We all choose sides. On to the next. On to the next one. Hold on, let me get my count in. There's a lot of meat on this one. Okay. So two people have 14, one person will have 13?
Yeah. My bad. Sorry, what was
You
your?
got
Sorry,
it.
sorry. What was
Huh?
your? So what was your thing?
Oh, I said two people get 14, one person will get 13?
Yeah.
He said, what was your count again? What was it again, peasant?
I just didn't hear you.
You bother me, peasant. Run along. Run along now. Set it off, Big. Don't mind me.
In the 12th year of Ahaz, sovereign of Yehuda, Hoshea, son of Elah, began to reign over Israel in Shamaron for 9 years. And he did evil in the eyes of Yahweh, but not as the sovereigns of Israel who were before him. Shalmaneser, sovereign of Ashur, came up against him, and Hoshea became his servant, and rendered him a present. But the sovereign of Ashur found a conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to So, sovereign of Misraim, and had not brought a present to the sovereign of Ashur. As year by year, and the sovereign of Ashur shut him up and bound him in prison, and the sovereign of Ashur went through all the land, and went up to Shamaron, and besieged it for 3 years. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the sovereign of Ashur captured Shamaron, and exiled Israel to Ashur, and settled them in Halah and Habor, the river of Gozan, and in the cities of the Medes. Now this came to be, the child of Israel had sinned against Yahweh their Elohim, who had brought them up out of the land of Misraim, from under the hand of Pharaoh, sovereign of Misraim, and feared other mighty ones, and walked in the laws of the nations whom Yahweh had dispossessed from before the children of Israel, and of the sovereigns of Israel that they had made. And the children of Israel secretly did against Yahweh, their Elohim, matters that were not right, and they built for themselves high places in all their cities, from watchtower unto the walled city, and set up for themselves pillars and asherim on every high hill and every green tree, and burned incense there on all the high places, like the nations whom Yahweh had removed from their presence. And they did evil matters to provoke Yahweh, and served the idols, of which Yahweh had said to them, do not do this. And Yahweh warned Israel and Yehuda through all of his prophets and every seer, saying, turn back from your evil ways, and guard my commands and my laws, according to all the Torah which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you by servants the prophets. I sent to you by my servants the prophets, but they did not listen, and hardened their necks like the necks of their fathers, who did not put their trust in their Elohim, in Yahweh their Elohim.
And rejected his laws and his covenant that he had made with their fathers, and his witnesses which he had witnessed against them, and went after worthlessness and became worthless, and after the nations who were all around them, and whom Yahweh had commanded them not to do like them. And they left all the commandments of Yahweh, and they left all the commands of Yahweh, their Elohim, and made for themselves a molded image of 2 calves, and made an Asherah, and bowed themselves to all the hosts of the heavens, and served Baal, and caused their sons and daughters to pass through the fire, and practiced divination and sorcery, and sold themselves to do evil in the eyes of Yahweh, to provoke him. So Yahweh was very enraged with Israel, and removed them from his presence. None was left but the tribe of Yehuda alone. Yehuda also did not guard the commands of Yahweh, their Elohim, but walked in the laws of Israel, which they made. And Yahweh rejected all the seed of Israel, and afflicted them, and gave them into the hand of plunderers, until he had cast them out from his presence. For he tore Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam son of Nebat sovereign. And Jeroboam drove Israel from following Yahweh, and made them commit a great sin. And the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did. They did not turn away from them, until Yahweh removed Israel from his presence, as he spoke by all the servants, the prophets. So Israel was exiled from their land to Asher, as it is to this day. The sovereign of Asher brought people from Babel, and from Cutha, and from Awa, and from Hamath, and Sepharwaim, and placed them in the cities of Shamaron instead of the children of Israel. And they took possession of Shamaron and dwelt in its cities. And it came to be, at the beginning of their dwelling there, they did not fear Yahweh, and Yahweh sent lions among them, which were killing among them. He spoke to the sovereign of Asher, saying, nations whom you have removed and placed in the cities of Shamaron do not know the right ruling of Elohim of the land. And he has sent lions among them, and see, there is slaying among them, because they do not know the right ruling of Elohim of the land, of the Elohim of the land. And the sovereign of Asher commanded, saying, send one of the priests whom you exiled from there, to go there. Let him go and dwell there, and let him teach them the right ruling of Elohim, of the Elohim of the land.
And one of the priests who they had exiled from Shemaron came and dwelt in Bethel, and taught them how to fear Yahweh. But every nation was making mighty ones of its own, and putting them in the houses of the high places which the Shemaronians had made, every nation in the cities where they dwelled. And the men of Babel made Sukkot, Banot, and the men of Kut made Negal, and the men of Hamath made Ashimal, and the Awites made Nisbal and Takar, and the Siwat burned their children in fire to and the Menelek, and the Menelek, the mighty ones of Sephrim. They also feared Yahweh. From every class they made for themselves priests of high places, who offered for them in the house of the high places. They were fearing Yahweh, and they were serving other mighty ones according to the rulings of the nation from amongst whom they had been exiled. To this day they are doing according to the former rulings. They are not fearing Yahweh, nor do they follow their laws or their right rulings, or the Torah, or the command which Yahweh had commanded the children of Yaakov, whom he had made Israel, whom Yahweh has made a covenant and commanded them, saying, do not fear all the mighty ones, nor bow down to them, nor serve them, nor slaughter them. But Yahweh, who brought you up from the land of Mizraim with great power and with an outstretched arm, him you shall fear, and him you shall bow yourself, and him you shall slaughter, and to him you shall slaughter. And guard to do forever the laws and the right rulings and the Torah and the command which he wrote for you, and to do not fear other mighty ones. And do not forget the covenant that I have made with you. And do not fear other mighty ones, but fear Yahweh your Elohim, that he delivers you from the hands of all your enemies. And they did not obey, but they did accordingly to their former ruling. So these nations were fearing Yahweh and served their carved images, both their children and their children's children, as their fathers did. They are doing to this day. Heavy. Heavy. And they still doing that, heavy, Father. Because, yeah, I'm sorry. They say, yeah, you know, you got your Pope. Yeah, you believe. Yeah. Pope is God on earth, though. Definitely is. They took some of the truth. You know, to make a lie, you got to take some of the truth. Okay, you know, we believe in the God in the Bible. Yeah, okay, but we also believe in Lucifer is a God. right? We want to let you know it's like God, big God, little God, right? You know, some people want to trick you. They want to get you there. They want to be like, okay, you know what? Jesus is a God. Okay, I mean, like, slow down, slow down, slow down. They want to try to mix it in, like, we're gonna try to ground this pork and this beef and lie to them. Ha ha, we got him. Gossip. That's where our people, we lose them because they just don't know. It sounds good, right? Zeus and Jesus came together. Now they hate Jesus. They fusion like Dragon Ball Z. You know the fusion? And they get you like, yeah, I know Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. Like Luke Skywalker. Oh, yeah. And you mean like guy like Han Solo or Obi-Wan? Both. Which one you like? Right? Just to get you off your path.
It's the manipulation.
Exactly. It's funny because they have more tools to do it now, but this is always here. You're gonna see, it's gonna be crazy because like they try to say the New Testament as if they were writing it as if they were dead. Hold on, let me make that make sense. Like right now, we could only write about yesterday, but we can't write about tomorrow. So we reading scripture now, right? So imagine our children have a third testament. Scriptures that's now being written, or this is already archived. What we've done is already archived. So they could say like, okay, this is the third testament. But we're not gonna talk like, hey, we're in the third testament and da 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 da. You know what I mean? Like, see, we're gonna focus on what was there before us and what they went through. And when Peter is writing, I mean, he could write about, you know what I'm saying? He could write about Yeshua. He was before him, right? Yeshua could speak about, you know, Musa. He could speak about Elijah. You know what I'm saying? Because I came before him, right? That you see the same thing that's going on in every cycle. Like these people doing what the same people did before Noah. And you're like, where did this come from? How did they get lost? Yes, it was true. They were the fallen. It happened. But to deny that, say like it didn't happen. Oh, but now we got 12 zodiacs. Like now, hey, Pooh, you're a Libra. No, that's a demon from these fallen. You're just trying to mix it up, cause confusion. And get people all spooky and all scary. When this is just an inheritance. This is our right to know this. We are the children that's going to reign. Yes, you will be judges. You will be kings. You will be shepherds. And the more you know the word, the better your cuts of your sword's going to be. The more precise. The more you have the faith, the more you could protect the wicked arrows of the enemies. Because we are in the wilderness. I say we are war. We are in the wilderness at war, finding our way home, gentlemen. What our forefathers did lays as a compass, a roadmap of what we shouldn't do. So yes, I get it. For y'all, it's going to glaze past y'all. But as you get older and you come back to this, because you got to come, it's the only way. Because you can't just say, like, I got it and I'm going to fly with it. You got to come back to it. As you break it down, yeah. Could you imagine, y'all, in the near distant future, if you will, 3 generations like myself, y'all little jits. The men, the warriors, the priestly kings, the high priest, coming together and breaking these down together.
Mm.
Just imagine that. And imagine why there's always a start over button right now. Like, cause I'm lucky enough to have seen Elza's generation, right? Mummy Fufu, right? And all of them. Mima come through, you know what I'm saying? Now me, myself, this generation, now you guys, you know what I'm saying? And I'm seeing in that, like, there's a weird start over button. Meaning like you don't have your inheritance. You don't pass anything down. You don't build like why is this woman still in certain places? Okay, it's not nobody's fault. Don't get emotional. It's we are suffering from this time. This is the time that we are in. And we are in a time of grace. We just gotta go get it. We gotta go seek it. This is action. Reading it is one part. I could read, put words together, and make it sound right. But comprehension, absorbing the word, is another. So, gentlemen, keep taking it in. Keep absorbing it. It's just like the sun for Superman. Get your superpower up. But what I can see on this level, I'ma share. And I pray that you all share when you can start seeing it. When you got the set apart spirit to get the discernment to be like, okay, the words now become like a movie to me. When I hear it, when I read it, I can start to see it. I would love to hear what you guys see. The vision that the Most High bless you with. And without further ado, moving on to the next one. I'm feeling great. How about you? Feeling the spirit, baby. Feeling the spirit. Okay. So, one person will get 13, another two get 12.
Yes, sir.
Starting to get good at this mathematica, sir. Should we want the 13 since you was taking the short
Yeah.
all the other time? Perfect. Big, you cool with that? My man. Lead the way. Out of sight.
So what's the other one
Come yes, sir?
again?
No, it's 12, 13, 12.
Came the third year of Hosea, son of Elah, sovereign of Israel, that Hizkiah, son of Ahaz, sovereign of Yehuda, began to reign. He was 25 years old when he began to reign. He reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Abi, daughter of Zechariah. And he did what was right in the eyes of Yahweh, according to all that his father David did. He took away the high places and broke the pillars, cut down the Asherah, and broke in pieces the bronze serpent which Moshe had made. For until those days the children of Israel burned incense to him, and called it Nehushtan. He put his trust in Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, and after him was none like him among all the sovereigns of Yehuda, nor who were before him. And he clung to Yahweh. He did not turn away from following him, guarded his commands, which Yahweh had commanded Moshe. And Yahweh was with him. Wherever he went, he acted wisely. And he rebelled against the sovereign of Ashur and did not serve him. He struck the Philistines as far as Azah and its borders, from watchtower unto the walled city. And it came to be in the 4th year of sovereign Hizkiyahu, which was the 7th year of Hoshea, son of Elah, sovereign of Israel, that Shalmaneser, sovereign of Ashur, came up against Shamaron and besieged it. They captured it at the end of 3 years. In the 6th year of Hezekiah, that is the 9th year of Hoshea, sovereign of Israel, Shamaron was captured. And the sovereign of Ashur exiled Israel to Ashur and placed them in Halah and Habor, river of Gozan, and in the cities of the Medes, because they did not obey the voice of Yahweh their Elohim, but transgressed his covenant, all that Moshe the servant of Yahweh had commanded, and they did not obey nor do them. And in the
And
14th
oh,
year of sovereign
and in the 14th year of sovereign is Kiahu, Senherib, sovereign of Ashur, came up against all the walled cities of Yehuda, captured them. In his Kia, excuse me, his Kia, sovereign of Yehuda, sent to the sovereign of Ashur, Lachish, saying, "I have done wrong. Turn away from me. I shall bear whatever you impose on me." The sovereign of Ashur imposed upon his Kia and the sovereign of Yehuda 300 talents of silver, 30 talents of gold. And Hizkiah gave him all the silver that was found in the house of Yahweh, and in all the treasuries of the sovereign's house. At that time, Hizkiah cut off the doors of the Hekel of Yahweh, Hekel of Yahweh, yeah, and the doorposts which Hizkiah, sovereign of Yehuda, had overlaid, and gave it to the sovereign of Ashur. And the sovereign of Ashur sent the Tartan and the Rabsaris and the Rabshakeh from Lachish with a great army against Jerusalem to sovereign Hizkiyahu. And they went up, came to Jerusalem, and they went, and when they came, and when they had come up, they came and stood by the channel of the upper pool, which was on the highway of the launderer's field. And they called to the sovereign, and Eliakim, son of Hilkiyahu, who was over the household, and Shebna, the scribe, and Joab, son of Asaph, the recorder, came out to them. And the Rab Shakeh said to them, "Please say to Hizkiyahu, thus said the great sovereign, the sovereign of Ashur, what is trust in which you have trusted? What is this trust in which you have trusted? You have spoken of having counsel and strength for battle, but they are only words of the lips. And in whom do you trust, that you rebel against me? Now look, you have put your trust in the staff of this crushed reed, Mithrium, on which if a man leans, it shall go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh sovereign of Mithrium to all who trust in him? Right, to all who trust in him? But when you say to me, we trust in Yahweh our Elohim, is it not he whose high place and whose slaughter places Hizkiah who has taken away? And said to Yehuda and Jerusalem, bow yourselves before this slaughter place in Jerusalem? And now, I urge you, give a pledge to my master, the sovereign of Ashur. Then I give you 2,000 horses, if you are able to put riders on them. If you are able to put riders on them. Now he turned back the face of one commander of the least of your men servants, and trust in Mithrium for chariot. How come? Have I now come up without you, Yahweh, against this place to destroy it? Yahweh said to me, go up against this land, and you shall destroy it.
Then says Eliakim, son of Hezekiah, and Sherebiah, and Joab the Rabbisarak, please speak to your servant in Aramaic, for we understand it, and we do not speak to us in the language of Yehuda. in the ears of the people on the wall. And Rebekah said to them, "Has my master sent me to your master and to speak to you these words? And do not the men sitting on the wall to eat their own dung and drink their own urine with you?" And Rebekah stood and called out with a loud voice in the language of Yehuda, and spoke and said, "Hear the words of the great sovereign, the sovereign of Asher. Thus says the sovereign, do not let Hezekiah deceive you, for he is unable to deliver you from out of his hand. And do not let Hezekiah make you trust in Yahweh, saying, Yahweh shall certainly deliver us, and the city is not given unto the hands of the sovereign Asher. Do not listen to Hezekiah, for this thus is said as sovereign of Ashur, make peace with me by present and come out with me, and let each of you eat from his own vine and from his own fig tree, and each of you drink water of his own cistern, until I come. Then I shall take you away to a land like your own land, a land with grains, with new wine, land for bread and vineyards, land for olive trees and honeys, and life, and not die. Why do you not listen to Hezekiah when he misleads you? But do not listen to Hezekiah when he misleads you, saying, Yahweh shall deliver us. Has any of the mighty ones of the nations of all delivered the land from the hand of the sovereign of Ashur? Where are the mighty ones of Hamath and Arabah? Where are the mighty ones of Seraph and Helena and Hishwa? Did they deliver Shemaron from my hand? Who amongst all the mighty ones of the lands have delivered their land out of my hand, that Yahweh should deliver Jerusalem from my hand? But the people were silent and did not answer him a word. From the command of the sovereign was, do not answer him. And Eliakim, son of Hilkiah, who was over the household of Sheraban, the scribe, and Yoha, son of Asaph, the recorder, came to Hezekiah with their garments torn, and they reported of him the words of Rahabasah. Well, I know this is not going to end up good for him. I already see it. You ain't even got to tell me nothing. Oh, it's over. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. I already see what's going to happen. He was joking about it too. Oh, he wants to, okay. All right. You was better off stepping on your own landmine, sir. Big.
They say it's a joke if no one agrees with them, but if someone agrees with them, it's just like, yeah, I was serious. Yeah.
Okay. But you already see the wind up coming. I already. It was all self-explanatory. Hold on, let me step ahead and do my count. And I got responsibilities here in this unit.
It's the same as last time.
Hmm. Oh yeah, fine. That's perfect. All right, we know what to do. I like that. No, not
When it came
19.
to be
I'm sorry. Go. Sorry.
when sovereign Hizkiyahu heard it, that he tore his garments and covered himself with sackcloth, and went into the house of Yahweh, and sent Eliakim, who was over the household of Shebna the scribe, and the elders of the priests covering themselves with sackcloth, to Yeshayahu the prophet, son of Amoz. And they said to him, Thus said Hizkiyahu, This day is a day of distress, and rebuke, and scorn. For the children have come to birth, but there is no power to bring forth. It could be that Yahweh your Elohim does hear all the words of the Rabshakeh, when whom his master, the sovereign of Ashur, has sent to reproach the living Elohim, and shall rebuke the words which Yahweh your Elohim has heard. Therefore, lift up your prayer for the remnant that is left. And the servants of sovereign Hizkiyahu came to Yeshayahu. And Yeshayahu said to them, say this to your master. Thus said Yahweh, do not be afraid of the words which you have heard, with which the servants of the sovereign of Ashur have reviled me. See, I am putting a spirit upon him, and he shall hear a report and return to his own land, and I shall cause him to fall by the sword in his land. And the Rabshakeh returned and found the sovereign of Ashur fighting against Libnah, for he had heard that he had left Lachish. And when the sovereign heard concerning Tirhakah, sovereign of Cush, see, he has come out to fight against you. He again sent messengers to Hizkiyahu, saying, speak to Hizkiyahu, sovereign of Yehuda, saying, do not let your Elohim in whom you trust deceive you, saying, Jerusalem is not given into your hand, into the hand of the sovereign of Ashur. See, you have heard what the sovereigns of Ashur had done to all lands by putting them under the ban. And are you going to be delivered? Have the mighty ones of the nations delivered those whom my fathers have destroyed? Gozan and Haran and Retseph and the sons of Eden who were in Telasar.
The sovereign of Hamath, and the sovereign of Arpad, and the sovereign of the city of Sepharwahim, Waim, Ina and Ewa, and Hizkiyahu, received the letters from the land of the messengers, and read them, and went up to the house of Yahweh. Hizkiyahu spread it before Yahweh. And Hizkiyahu prayed before Yahweh, and said, O Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, the one who dwells between cherubim, you are Elohim, you alone, of all the reigns of the earth. You have made the heavens and the earth. Incline your ear, O Yahweh, and hear. Open your eyes, O Yahweh, and see, and hear the words of Sanherib, which he has sent to reproach the living Elohim. Truly, Yahweh, the sovereigns of Ashur have laid waste to the nations and their lands, and have put their mighty ones into the fire. For they were not mighty ones, but the work of men's hands, wood and stone, and destroyed them. And now, our Elohim, and now, O Yahweh, our Elohim, I pray, save us from his hand, so that all the reigns of the earth know that you are Yahweh, Elohim, you alone. Then Yeshayahu, son of Amatz, sent to Hizkiyahu, saying, thus said Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, I have heard that which you have prayed to me against Sennacherib, sovereign of Ashur. And this is the word which Yahweh had spoken concerning him. The maiden, the daughter of Tion, has despised you, mocked you. The daughter of Jerusalem had shaken her head behind you. Whom have you reproached and reviled? Against whom have you raised the voice and lifted up your eyes on high? Against the set apart one of Israel? By the hand of your messengers you have reproached Yahweh, and said, with my many chariots I have come up to the height of the mountains, to the sides of Lebanon, and I cut down its tall cedars, its choice cypress trees, and I enter its remotest parts, its thickest forests. I have dug and drunk strange water, and with the soles of my feet I dry up all the seams of defiance. Have you not heard long ago? I made it. From the days of old I formed it. Now I have brought it to be, that you should make walled cities ruinous heaps.
And their inhabitants were powerless, and they were overthrown and put to shame. They were as grass in the field of the green plants. and the grass on the housetops, and withered before it came up. But I know you're sitting down, and you're going out and coming in, and you're raging against me. Because you rage against me, and your pride has overcome up to my ears, I shall put my hooks in your nose, and my bridle in your lips, and I shall turn you back into the way which you came. And this is a sign for you. Thus this year you eat what grows of itself. And the second year, what springs up from that. And the third year, sow up and reap and plant vineyards and eat their fruits. And the remnant who have escaped off the house of Yehuda shall again take root downward and be fruitful. For out of Jerusalem come forth a remnant, and those who escape from the Mount Sion, adorned of Yahweh, does this. Therefore, thus says Yahweh concerning the sovereign of Ashur: He does not come into the city, nor does he shoot an arrow here, nor does he come before it with shield, nor does he build a siege mount against it. By way that he came, by the same he turned back, and does not come back into the city, declares Yahweh. And I shall defend the city to save it for my own sake and for the sake of David my servant. And it came to be in that night the messengers of Yahweh went out and struck in the camp of Ashurah 185,000. And they rose up early in the morning and saw all of them dead bodies. And Shurah, sovereign of Ashurah, broke camp and went away and turned back and remained in Nidway. And it came to be, as he was bowing himself in the house of Nisroch, his mighty one, that his son Adamarak,
And
Aramarelech,
Promelech.
Adramelech, and Sharesta struck them with the sword, and they escaped into the land of Arat, and his son Esarhaddon reigned in this place. Whoa. Yeah, I knew it. Talking all that smash. Talking all that smash. Look at you. All you have to do is
Yahweh
just
says
Look at you
always
now.
comes into fruition.
always. That's the bomb. That's the Moab. Don't play with it. Play
Look
with
at
it.
you now.
Look at you now. Woo! Fire. 185,000. Gotta be 185,000.
This worked out so perfectly.
I know, right? Each of us gets 7.
No,
Beautiful.
I was thinking because the first two, I was down 1. It's the 3 and 4, I was up 1, and now we are the same. I evened out.
All even now.
I'm paying attention to the numbers sometimes.
Hey, that's what you're here for. You are CFO. Even in the spirit realm. All right. Well, this one's simple. Let's get it.
Yep.
In those days, Hizkiyahu was sick unto death. And Yeshayahu the prophet, son of Amatz, went to him and said to him, Thus said Yahweh, Command your house, for you are not going. My bad. Command your house, for you are going to die and not live. And he turned his face toward the wall and prayed to Yahweh, saying, I pray to you, O Yahweh. Remember how I have walked before you in truth and with a perfect heart, and have done what was good in your eyes. And Hizkiyahu wept bitterly. And it came to be, before Yeshayahu had gone out into the middle court, that the word of Yahweh came to him, saying, Return and say to Hizkiyahu, the leader of my people, Thus said Yahweh, the Elohim of David your father, I have heard your prayer, I have seen your tears. See, I am going to heal you. On the 3rd day go up to the house of Yahweh, and I shall add to your days 15 years, and deliver you in the city from the hand of the sovereign of Ashur. Shall defend this city for my own sake, for the sake of David my servant. And Yeshayahu said, Take a cake of figs, and And they took and laid it on the boy, and he recovered.
Right, I believe that's where it was. And Hitzkai said to Yesh Yeshahayu, "What is the sign that Yahweh does heal me, and that I shall go to the house of Yahweh the third day?" And Yeshahayu said, "This is a sign. This is the sign for you from Yahweh, that Yahweh does the word which he had spoken. As shall the shadow go forward 10 degrees or go backwards 10 degrees?" Hezekiah, Hezekiah said, "It would be easier for the shadow to go down 10 degrees, no? But let the shadow go backward 10 degrees." And Yeshahiah the prophet cried out to Yahweh, and he brought the shadow 10 degrees backward, by which it had gone down on the sundial of Ahaz. At that time, Berodak Baladan, son of Baladan, sovereign of Babel, sent letters and a present to Hezekiah, for he heard that Hezekiah had been sick. And Hezekiah listened to them, showed them all his treasure house, and silver and the gold, and the spices, and the precious ointment, and all his armory, and all that was found among his treasures. There was not an object in his house, or in all his rule, that Hezekiah did not show them. And Yeshahiah the prophet came to sovereign Hezekiah, said to him, "What did these men say, and where did they come to you?" And Hezekiah said, "They came from a distant land, from Babel."
And he said, "What have they seen in your house?" And Hezekiah answered, they saw all that's in my house. There is not an object among my treasure that I did not show them." And Yeshahiah said to Hezekiah, "Hear the words of Yahweh. See, the days are coming when all that's in your house, and which your fathers have treasured up until this day, shall be brought to Babel, and no object is to be left, says Yahweh. And they're going to take away some of your sons who are to be born to you, who you bring forth, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the sovereign of Babel." And Hezekiah said to Yeshahiah, "The words of Yahweh which you have spoken is good." And he said, "It's not so. If peace and truth are to be in my days," and the rest of the acts of Hezekiah and all his might, and how he made a pool and a channel and brought up water into the city, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereign of Yehuda? So Hezekiah slept with his fathers, and Menashe, his son, reigned in his place. Mm-mm-mm. Man, when you walk with the Most High, man, and I ain't even gonna say walk with. I walk with Ashua. I'm walking in the commandments, though. You up, you up. It is lit. I can't even pretend, guys. I'm going through so many emotionals, but at the same time, understanding that even reading this, it's like being there and understanding what those leaders and those sovereigns have to face. Like, could you imagine us if we were just into, like, I don't know, rock and roll and goth and Wiccans and Wiccers and believing in owls and oh yeah, we OVO. And can you imagine, like, we'll be different people. We'll look different. That's why we gotta thank the Most High from this simple point of viewpoint for giving us these opportunities for discernment together. No telling what we're doing on our own.